Hi everybody, Laura here for Simon Says Stamp. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun project where I created this unique pattern using strips of paper. So I have some scrap solid color cardstock. This is from my scrap bin, and rainbow colors, of course. These are all Simon Says Stamp solid color cardstock. Dull pink, cotton candy, orange peel, sunshine, lemon chiffon. What are the green colors? I always forget. It's like green apple, green leaf, and then AUDREY blue. And I've got this new, I treated myself to this tonic, this Tim Holtz tonic paper trimmer. I've used the 12 by 12 tonic for years, but I treated myself to the smaller one, and it is a dandy. And then I've got this little panel of white cardstock that I'm covering with tape runner. I'm going to adhere all these strips to this panel. It holds them together and just makes it look dynamite. Now, the thing I love about working with strips of paper are you can color customize it, whatever occasion, whatever you love. You can use pattern paper. You can use up your scraps. And now we're kicking it up a notch. And instead of just having stripes, we're going to take this striped panel, we're going to chop it up and make a unique pattern. It's almost kind of like quilting, if you will, although I've never quilted, but I would love to do a quilt, especially a rainbow quilt like this with stripes. That would be a dream. So I had two blue. One was AUDREY blue, and that last light blue is Sea Glass. That is the name of that super light blue cardstock that I decided not to use. Now I've got this panel. I'm going to take it back to my sweet new guillotine trimmer and clean it up. So I clean up the edges, cut off any of the excess, that little white strip on the end that I don't need. So what I'm trying to do here is get a nice perfect square. So I want to get this panel down to 2 inches. And it should be 2 inches because I got 8 1/4 inch strips, but it's larger. I don't know why. Some of my strips might not be exactly 1/4 inch. Whatever the case, I trim this down to 2 inches, turn it to the side, trim it to 2 inches. So you've got 2 by 2 squares. I take the square, I go corner to corner, and I cut the square into a triangle. You see that? Again, corner to corner. It's easy to do on the guillotine trimmer. You just line up the corner. You can see exactly how you're lining it up. Then I take the triangles, I butt those up against the top, and I cut the triangle into 2 triangles. I mean, can you handle it? I don't know if you know my love affair with triangles, but this is just like heaven. So now we're going to end up with 8 striped little lovely triangles. And I'm going to take these on my grid mat, line them up with the lines on the grid to get even spacing and come up with a design. Now, don't get too thinking I'm all genius or anything. I had no idea this was going to come about the way it did. It was totally organic, like a happy little accident, but I love how it did turn out. And then while everything is in place, I take Post-it tape and tape it down. I take 3 pieces of Post-it tape, and this holds the whole design together, keeps the spacing intact. Flip it over and pop on the foam tape, because you know, Mama's got to have that dimension. So I cut little strips of the foam tape, put those all over, and then I believe it's just 8 little strips. Take off the backing, and then you can flip it over and center it on your card. I'm using a white Neenah Solar white card base, keeping it really clean and simple. I like to tape down the card base to hold it flat, and this way you can see the lay of the land. Center it, get it right where you want it to go, peel off the Post-it tape, bada boom, bada bing. Look at that. I mean, just look at it. Now, I want to keep this clean and simple. For the sentiment, I'm using this Hello Darlin' stamp set. I'm going to emboss that Thinking of You in white onto some black cardstock. So I'm rubbed it down with a magic powder bag, ink it up with Versamark ink, and I'm using Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder. I will heat this with the heat gun, just like so. I love that Hello Darlin' stamp set. It's so cute. And I'm going to take one of the sentiment label dies to die cut the sentiment and get it centered perfectly on the sentiment strip. I take it off camera, run it through the old Gemini Junior, and there you have it. Now I put a little foam tape on the back of my sentiment strip. I'm going to pop it up right in the crack. Now, if my kids were sitting here, they'd be giggling as all get out when I say that, put that right in the crack. I don't know if you giggle. It doesn't really make me laugh, but it sure does make them laugh. And this card is finished. Look at that. Now, you got to pull out some strips and come up with a pattern. Are you itching to do it? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.